Grace is one of those towns you drive into and immediately know that the people who live there love their town. Everything is neat, tidy and attractive. If you're lucky enough to be there when the flowering gums are blooming, from February to March, then you're in for an additional treat. Other towns in the Shire include Newdegate, Lake King, Varley and Pingaring. The town lies east of Kukerin and west of Newdegate, and is about 350 kilometres from the state capital city of Perth. There's a 50-metre swimming pool and sporting complex in town, and efforts continue to revitalise the place. The area was first officially explored by John Septimus Roe in 1848. There were probably sandalwood cutters in the area before Roe passed some 30 kilometres from the current town site. Roe was accompanied by 2 soldiers from the 95th Regiment, 2 members of the Surveyor General's Department, and an Aboriginal guide known as Super. Roe named Mount Madden after Dr. Richard Madden, Western Australia's colonial secretary. Settlement was slow in coming to the area, and Edward Robinson is recorded as the first to take up a lease in the area in 1874. But there was no permanent settlement here until about 1907. One source quotes Patrick McMahon as first settling here in 1908. The nearby lake was named in 1910 by the District Surveyor Marshal Foulkes after the wife of Surveyor General F.S. Brockman. Grace Brockman, his wife, was originally Grace Bustle and is well known for taking part in the rescue of survivors from a wrecked ship. There is another claim that the town was named after Stephen Grace, who was speared in 1907 by Aborigines near the current site of Wiluna. But that seems to be very unlikely, as Lake Grace appears to have been on maps since 1906. The anomaly here is that if it existed on maps in 1906, why is it recorded that Marshal Foulkes named it in 1910? So far we have no answer to this puzzle. The Aboriginal name for the area is Pinnawaring. Other names that have been associated with the lake in early years were Condenen, Walkerin and Cordoblin. By the middle of 1911, there were at least 17 selections taken up by settlers. In the early years, the settlers were sadly lacking in fresh vegetables, and as a result developed a kind of scurvy called Barcoo rot. There was no post office for the mail delivery to start with, so a contractor from Dumbleyoung camped overnight near a dam. Anyone wanting to see if they had any mail, or who had any to send, would arrive at the dam before the contractor left the next morning. A local progress committee was started in 1912, and its first task was the establishment of a school. The school was erected the following year, and the railway arrived in 1916, the same year that the town site was formally gazetted. In 1920 the first church was constructed, and this was followed by a bakery, town hall, and a number of other shops and private dwellings. Some of the buildings didn't last all that long, as 3 separate fires destroyed no fewer than 6 shops. After a number of accidental deaths and injuries, due in the main to horses and guns, there was a general push to get a hospital established in the town. The Australian Inland Mission, started by John Flynn, assisted, and the hospital and mission was opened in 1926. In the same year, a railway link with Newdegate, and hence towns to the east, was opened up, and Lake Grace was no longer quite so isolated. In 1957, gold was discovered in the area, and a mine, known as Griffin's Find, was established. The find was significant enough for mining to continue until the end of 1989. There are 34 plant biodiversity hotspots on Earth, and one of them is actually located in the Shire.